con man, rough night last night for the city of Boston.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Not at all, especially because it was fun for a little bit. Obviously, you had Raw last night that did. We all watched that as well. That was tough, but the Celtics were up 20. Let's not act like they didn't kind of show up and show out for a little bit. They had a hack-a-shack situation going on in the second quarter. That was very fun. Everyone was thinking in Boston, okay, Joe Mazzulla in his bag, fouling a big guy. Knicks can't get their offense going early. This is great. And then the second half, it was a completely different story. I think the third quarter, they cut it to 9 at the end. And then in the fourth, you had Jalen Brunson, who everyone mentions is the clutch player of the year. He did come in the clutch. And to be fair, I thought there was going to be a lot more foul hunting by him. There wasn't. He was just playing great basketball. That's a massive three over Al Horford. And, to go up by 6, the Celtics did come back a little bit. Huge three from Derek White here to go up 1. And even here, after giving up a 20-point lead, I think Celtics fans are still thinking, okay, weathered the storm, gritty comeback, if you will, after being up 20, but the Celtics will still get it done. Nope. The Knicks continued to answer. OG was fantastic. He also had 29 points, along with Jalen Brunson's 29 points. But it was a great battle. It ends up going to overtime. Jalen misses this buzzer beater attempt. Celtics go down. I believe they chuck a 3. They missed that. And then overtime, the Knicks kind of took over. It was good. Personally, when the game is done, okay, gentlemen's sweep is on. They had their fun. Now all the pressure of the sweep is off. Now we're kind of the underdogs. Everyone's looking at the Boston Celtics as this massive titan, this Goliath of basketball, which they are. Bridges, I don't know if he hurt his face or if he was doing some sort of fun celebration there. Whatever the case, that was the last bucket from the Knicks there to go up by 6. Celtics, again, let's keep chucking threes. Got to love it. That one goes in. That was actually Jaylen Brown with 1:10 left in overtime. That was his first 3 of the game. He finished 1 for 10. That was the story between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Huck one off the backboard, driving to the lane, so you can't hate on it because at least he was driving to the lane. Again, what are we doing here at the end of the game? A lot of people
Tatum
saying,
didn't want it.
A lot of people saying, well, he got doubled. A lot of people saying that might have been a foul by Towns. It wasn't. Some people were saying, hey, he was going up with the ball here. Towns fouled him before they started to gather, and then just a brilliant inbounds play after calling a timeout before the first attempt at the inbounds. It was tough for the Celtics, but I think Celtics fans still have a lot of faith.
Yeah, I think you should, obviously. There's no way in hell you guys go 15 of 60 from 3. And this is the same conversation about Joe Mazzulla that happens every single time the Boston Celtics lose. Now, obviously, they've gone on to win championships with this entire mindset, so it's hard to bury Joe Mazzulla and call him a bird brain maybe for this particular style. But whenever the Celtics miss their threes, they're not a winning team. Golden State Warriors were the same exact way. If they got ice cold in a game, they were going to lose that game. I would assume the bucket's going to look a little bigger for the Boston Celtics. I assume that water's going to find its level, and I think the Celtics probably win the next game, maybe by 50. But with that being said, Knicks fans are riding high. Stephen A. Smith was, I don't want to say joy, he was glee.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was full glee out there because all the Knicks fans on TV yesterday, who obviously have forced Knicks conversations onto our televisions every single day of our lives. Yesterday they were saying the only way they can beat Celtics is they need God. They need to start praying. Every single one, not just Stephen A. Every Knicks fan that you run into was like, yeah, we need God's help in this particular one. Well, maybe God was just telling him he can't make a 3 this evening, and that's why the Celtics weren't able to get the dub. But congrats to this Knicks team. They continue to fight. They continue to be incredibly tough. And this Jalen Brunson guy is so fun to watch. Undersized, but he's seemingly tougher than everybody else on the court. Obviously, OG does his thing. And Kat, welcome to your Knicks moment, I guess is what this is currently. And now we got a ball game. Now we got a series. Everybody was assuming this was going to be a sweep. Even the ESPN odds. The odds were better for the Celtics to get a sweep than the Knicks to win the series, which is wild. Yeah, they'll win 4 straight. The Knicks won't even get a dub. What about the Knicks in 6? Better odds than if the Celtics, or worse odds than the Celtics winning in 4. Wonderful game. I love that the NBA has this type of thing. This is the best of 7 series, though, conversation in a nutshell. shell. You steal one on the road for game one. Can you back it up? The better team normally wins whenever there's 7 attempts at it. Just like the Indiana Pacers won into Cleveland. Stole one from the number 1 seed Cleveland Cavaliers. Will they be able to do it again? Will they be able to do enough? We'll see out of the New York Knicks. One half of the hammer down. Cowboys AP Tone had something.
Yeah, you want to talk about the odds. Even though the Knicks got game one last night in the Garden, in the Boston TD Garden, Celtics still minus 370 to win the series. So even though they got game one, there's still not a lot of hope in the betting markets for the Knicks to win the series.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to 9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler. Before the show, I said I didn't want to have Connor talking about that game, just like I didn't want to have Bruce talk about that game whenever we showed the original highlights, because, personal feelings start getting in there. Sure. Weren't able to kind of roll through that entire thing, and obviously he's had that championship trophy, Larry O, sitting on the desk for the entire year, rubbing it in people's faces. They were 20-4 in their last 24 playoff games. Now they're 20-5. To say they've been on a heater in the playoffs would be an understatement, this Boston Celtics team. They have been dominant. They look like the UConn Huskies back in March Madness the last couple of years, even though they lost it this year. Congrats to Golden down in Florida. He just signed a massive deal after winning the national championship. But they have been dominant. Is this a good thing for the Boston Celtics to have this happen in game one, especially with everybody dancing on their face?
Yeah, if you're going to lose, definitely, obviously better to lose it lose one early. But I'm sure they hate losing at home. And we talked about the threes, but defense, even with the Warriors, when they were on their great run, like they hung their hat on defense, and the same thing with the Celtics. Like you said, do they go 15 for 60 again? Probably not. Like third quarter, the wildest stat I saw from last night's game was 19 of their 20 field goal attempts in the third quarter were 3-point.
Jesus.
Like that is insane. Regardless of what your style of play is, 19, like get to the basket. Was watching in the fourth quarter. I know Con Man put a tweet out about, this Himbo stat right here. Never seen anything like it was unbelievable watching it. Get to the cup. Get to the bucket. If you're Jason Tatum, you're Jalen Brown, get to the bucket. You got smaller defenders. You saw it in the other game, taking advantage of size. You got to do that. You got to win. But like Con Man said, you figure it out. I think they still figure it out over this series. I still think they get it done. Game 2, they're already 10-point favorites. I know that doesn't matter to the guys in the locker room or the coaches on the bench, but 10-point favorites at home, you would expect them to bounce back and try to hold serve at home court.
Yeah, still feel great about it. I assume most Celtics fans do. It's just some of those things, like seeing that shot chart. The most frustrating part is there was always some matchup on the floor where it was a bigger guy for the Celtics on a smaller guy for the Knicks. And normally it doesn't happen that often. But when Brunson is on the court, it's like, hey, Tatum and Jalen Brown are getting this matchup, and then they're just deciding, hey, let's just chuck it. Wendy said this morning, of their 63s, 32 of them came in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock, which is even more frustrating because the Knicks are so good in transition in the entire thing. The real worry is Porzingis left the game after the first half with a vicious tummy ache. I don't know if it was pooping. I don't know if it was attic or basement, but it was not good. And then Sam Hauser rolled his ankle after coming in, having a couple tough shots, and then fouling a guy shooting a three. So there are some worries there with Porzingis, but yeah, still all the confidence in the world.
We'll talk to Jamal Crawford, Jay Crossover, who played 20 years in the NBA here in about 5 minutes or so to get his thoughts, not only on the Boston Celtics losing to the Knicks. Bruce Brown, who's a Knicks fan, says, we also missed 17 free throws. So everybody's talking about the 45 missed threes. We missed 17 free throws. That's probably never going to happen again. Still get the dub. Way to fight through, Bruce.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, I know that the Celtics won't be that bricks committed throughout the rest of the series, but we played nowhere near our best basketball either. Cat got the early third foul. He was out for the entire second quarter and played terrible in the third quarter. We can play better as well. What I'm hanging my hat on going forward here is that I don't think Jay Tatum can score on OG Anunoby. I don't know if anybody actually can. And, Brunson, if we're within 10 in the fourth quarter, he's Captain Clutch. He is the best closer in basketball, and he will get the job done while Jay Tatum disappears 0 for 7.
Don't look now. Pacers might be the hottest team in basketball, might be the most dominant team in basketball. Let's go to the West. Last night was another massive upset if you look at what the spread was beforehand. This Oklahoma City team was being talked about all year. This is the team. This is the team. This is the team. SGA doesn't get enough respect. This team doesn't get enough credit because they're from a small market. Oklahoma City is the team. Well, they just ran into Coach Joker and the boys.
Yeah.
And down the stretch, him losing his mind.
This.
Need you, do this. And remember, he said just the other night after after the last game of the last series, he said, I think the media is just paying attention to me coaching more on the sideline. I don't think so, Joker. I think you're being much more of a coach, much more involved, much more empowered after the Coach Malone firing and the general manager firing. I love everything I'm seeing out of Denver. And I do wonder if there's a chance that maybe those players were done with Malone.
I think you might be right.
And I do wonder if there was a chance those players were done with the building, with what GM was doing. Hey, we're a great team. We've won a championship. Maybe they didn't like the way things were going. So the owner decides to get rid of coach and GM. I wonder if there was a players meeting that's like, hey, they did what we want. Now it's on us. Because how they've looked and how they've executed and how they've been playing, this Denver Nuggets team looks like they can win a ship. We talked to some basketball people. Q Rich says, you fire your coach and GM a week and a half before the playoffs, you're basically saying this year we're not going to win. Mm-hmm. What if they said the complete opposite? What if there was a chance that there was convo with Joker and Gordon and Murray and Braun and the boys over there and Russell Westbrook, who hucked up a sweet three at the end, maybe we could have won that thing. Perfect form, great confidence. Maybe he makes that fall. But what if there was a chatter with the team and Joker and the boys said, we're good. We got this. We know what we got to do. Yeah. We have enough maturity on this team. We have enough championship pedigree. They go into Oklahoma City, and at the end, the foul and free throw and then foul and then free throw game, I hate. Okay, the final 2 minutes of this game took 6 minutes and 48 seconds in the video that the NBA posted. It was down to 20 seconds with 20 seconds left with 5 minutes left on that video. And that's because the fouling and the free throws and the fouling, they were able to foul Chet Holmgren. He misses. They get down the other end. Aaron Gordon drops a three in their eyeball, and all of a sudden they go from losing game one in Oklahoma City with just seconds left to stealing one in Oklahoma City because the way they played the game. D-Butch, I love this Nuggets team, and I like the fact that the players might have been challenged by the fact that we're moving on from the coach and GM. This is your team now. Joker's obviously taking control.
I love how much ownership they're taking. If you run it back to the top Fox with Joker on the sideline, the first thing I look at as a former player, obviously football, not basketball, but as a former player, is on the sideline with him talking to the guys, looking like the coach, the players around, how bought in are they? How locked in are they to what he's saying? Like, that's what I look at, because we know a lot of guys can get in this moment, and it's like, okay, it's for the cameras, or it's a time to be a leader, it's time to say some shit on the sideline. But you can tell it's legit just based on how the guys around him are looking at him. You know the respect they have for him, because he goes out there, he puts it on the line all regular season. He'll put up 40-plus minutes, and he was dominant again last night. 42 points, 22 boards, and 6 assists. Like, it's only 3 other guys in this league who've ever put up numbers like that: Shaq, Wilt, and Giannis. And usually when you're on a list like that, it's some pretty elite shit. But it wasn't just him. It was a full effort. And I always talk about championship pedigree, talk about it with the Warriors, talk about it with the Celtics. And you got to talk about it here with this squad, too. You go into a hostile environment where OKC, obviously, they dominated all year long. SGA probably be the MVP this year. And those clips, like we talked about Tatum and Brown not taking advantage of those matchups, if you go back to those Nuggets clips, anytime Joker got a switch when it wasn't a big body, only Hartenstein's probably the guy that can match up with them physically. Yeah. He was backing guys down and putting them in the bucket, absolutely dominating, not only scoring, rebounding the ball, and obviously getting other guys involved. And you talk about Captain Clutch. I know it's Brunson right now, but Aaron Gordon, on this playoff run, we had the dunk tip back at the rim a couple games ago, and then obviously the big-time three here to seal this one after Chet missed those free throws. Aaron Gordon actually knocked down 2 huge free throws down the stretch, too, so just an all-around effort by this squad.
I love this Nuggets team.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I mean, I don't know anything about basketball. I don't know anything about it. But you fire the coach and the GM that close to the playoffs, and the players all buy in and continue to go. It's like, feels like the players might have been a part of this whole, hey, we're done with this. We got this. We're the ones that are on the court. And watching them have success after doing that, and obviously we're a player-led show, and we're always going to see things through the players' eyes. But like what Russell Westbrook has brought to that team, obviously awesome. I mean, obviously incredible. What a perfect spot for Russell Westbrook. You're like the 4th, 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th guy on that team at any given point. Doesn't need to have any pressure on him, but whenever we need energy, whenever we need defense, whenever we need a spark, Russell Westbrook comes in perfect perfect role for him. Joker just being able to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, seemingly playing against children all the time. Awesome. And then you've got, obviously, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray. These guys have been there, done that, and have had success, and they're all bought in. And the fact that they were able to steal one with the free throw game at the end of it, I assume only makes them believe even firmer, what a shot, even firmer that what they did was right, and they are the right group for the job. I'm excited to watch this Nuggets team, and I think they're a problem. I think they are an absolute problem. Last night I was flying home watching the run of that Nuggets Oklahoma City game as I was flying home from Omaha, Nebraska. Great to see the Cornhuskers there. Great to see the people there. Great chance to chit chat with Gunther. We got a fight on Saturday in St. Louis. But as I was flying home, I was watching the run of the games. It's hard for me to sleep, so I'm able to keep up. And it's just like Joker just controls that thing. Anytime he wants, he can control that thing. He just takes it over on the court, on the sideline, on the bench. And if he's got somebody smaller than him, he's backing that ass up and he's moving you 10. There's nothing Caruso can do there. Unless Caruso takes a fake fall. And their old buddy that was supposed to be the big meat that was going to be a problem for him, it's like Joker was laughing in this guy's face basically the entire game. I understand that this Oklahoma City team is damn good. I understand this Oklahoma City team has had an incredible year. But, man, it's hard whenever we get to this playoff time. It's prime time where I see this loaded team and with a more invested Joker playing. It's like this team is going to be tough out. This is a tough out. All of a sudden, I like the Nuggets to. I'm not saying it because I like the Pacers, but
out of the West.
The Nuggets. The Nuggets.
I expect this to be a 6-7 game series. Yeah, we expect OKC to bounce back and respond. But this is because, like you said, coming into it, I think before we went live, you're like, this wasn't a big upset to me because outside looking in, you're looking at, hey, Joker is probably the best player in the NBA. So
I don't think that's probably anymore, right?
He is.
Joker's the best player in the NBA.
He's the best player in the NBA, but SGA will win the MVP this year.
Most valuable player. Most best player.
We've had that conversation.
Joker could win it.
As an outside fan looking in, it's like, why is he a 9-point underdog? The team that he's on, but OKC has been dominant. I think Greeny called them possibly one of the best teams ever.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah. So we'll see. I expect them to bounce back, and this is their opportunity to kind of make a real name for themselves on the global stage.
Nuggets, if you do like them, they are not just to win the championship, but just to win this series up 1-0. They are plus 260 to win this series.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.